I tried to hide my cheating from my husband, but it didn't work. It all started innocently enough. I met Chad at a work conference, and we hit it off right away. He was charming, funny, and incredibly attractive. I couldn't resist his flirtatious advances, and soon enough, we found ourselves entangled in a passionate affair. At first, I thought I could keep my little indiscretion a secret from my husband, Jack. I would sneak around, meeting Chad in dark alleyways and shady motels, always on high alert for any sign of suspicion from Jack. I became an expert at crafting excuses, weaving intricate tales of late-night work meetings and unexpected errands. The thrill of the secret rendezvous was intoxicating, and I convinced myself that I could juggle both worlds without consequence, but as time went on, I realized just how terrible I was at hiding my cheating ways. I started making careless mistakes. One evening, Jack found a text message from Chad that I had forgotten to delete. I managed to explain it away, but I could see the seeds of doubt being planted in his mind. My guilt began to gnaw at me, and the once exhilarating affair started to feel more like a burden. It all came to a head one fateful night when Jack walked in on Chad and me in our own living room, entwined in a passionate embrace. I could see the shock and hurt in Jack's eyes, and I knew that my feeble attempts at deception had failed miserably. Chad quickly gathered his things and left, leaving me to face the full brunt of Jack's anger and betrayal. As Jack stormed out of the house, I knew I had to come clean and face the music. I followed him outside, where he stood fuming on the front lawn. "Jack, I can explain," I stammered, tears streaming down my face. "It was just a moment of weakness, I swear." But Jack just turned to me with a look of pure disbelief. "A moment of weakness? More like a series of calculated lies and deceit. How could you do this to me, to us?" I hung my head in shame, knowing that I had brought this upon myself. I had let the thrill of the affair cloud my judgment, and now I was faced with the harsh reality of losing the man I loved. Jack packed his bags and left that night, leaving me alone to wallow in my guilt and regret. I spent the next few days in a haze of sadness and self-pity, wondering how I could have been so foolish. I replayed every moment of the affair in my mind, trying to understand how I had let things get so out of hand, but then, a strange thing happened. Instead of wallowing in misery, I found myself becoming strangely liberated. Without the weight of my lies and deceit holding me back, I felt like a new woman, ready to take on the world. I took up new hobbies, joined a book club, and even started volunteering at a local animal shelter. I threw myself into every aspect of my life with renewed enthusiasm, determined not to let my past mistakes define me. I reconnected with old friends, mended strained relationships, and focused on becoming the best version of myself. And then, one day, out of the blue, Jack came knocking on my door. I was shocked to see him standing there, looking sheepish and apologetic. "Can we talk?" he asked, his eyes filled with regret. I let him in, and we sat down at the kitchen table, facing each other in awkward silence. After what felt like an eternity, Jack finally spoke. "I've had some time to think, and I realize now that I still love you, despite everything you've done. I don't know if I can ever fully trust you again, but I'm willing to give us another chance if you are." I was stunned. I never expected Jack to forgive me, let alone want to reconcile. But as I looked into his eyes, I knew that I couldn't pass up this second chance at happiness. We talked for hours, laying our hearts bare and promising to be more honest and communicative in the future. It wasn't easy, and there were definitely bumps along the road. We sought counseling, both individually and as a couple, to address the issues that had led us to this point. We learned to be more open with each other, to express our feelings and fears without judgment. Slowly but surely, we worked through our issues together, rebuilding our trust and love one day at a time. We rediscovered the things that had drawn us together in the first place and found new ways to connect on a deeper level. As we stood together on our front lawn, surrounded by our friends and family, renewing our vows in a beautiful ceremony, I knew that my cheating days were behind me. I had learned my lesson the hard way, but I was grateful for the second chance that Jack had given me. From that day on, we lived happily ever after, stronger and more committed than ever before. And whenever I felt the urge to stray, I would remember the lessons I had learned and the love that had saved me from myself. So, while my cheating ways may have caused me endless grief and heartache, they had also taught me a valuable lesson in honesty, forgiveness, and the power of love. And for that, I will always be grateful.